up, everyone? Morning. Happy Monday. All right, so working on some techniques today, but before that, I wanted to sort of explain the philosophical principle behind this technique and maybe a problem you might consider or experience during the course of your meditation. The underlying consensus is there are no problems, right? Everything is divine, and that core sentiment of yogic yogis and like meditators, I think is the simplest way of reducing the entirety of the ethos and the culture and the practice into sort of like this digestible concept. Everything is divine. Whether it is good or bad is the misperception of a highly evolved intellect. And to disavow your instinctual prerogative to define things as good or bad, and let's make it even more meaningful, as safe or dangerous, as beneficial or detrimental, is a strange but necessary skill if you want to access what the practice is attempting to afford you. And what you are attempting to access is truth. So a couple concepts. There is a very popular parable that attempts to explain the subjectivity and impossibility of an objective truth. And so the parable is about three blind men that are asked or tasked to describe an elephant, a creature they've never encountered before. And so one man touches the tail, another man touches the leg, another man touches the trunk. And all of the blind men, right, without knowing that they're touching the same animal, are asked to explain what this animal feels like. And so the man that touches the tail says it's something like a pig. The man that touches the leg says it's something like a tree. The man that touches the trunk says it's something like a snake. And again, the lesson is, everyone has their own experience of truth and all experiences are valid. So it's really honoring subjectivity. But the yogis and meditation and sort of the philosophical goal of this practice and the point behind all of these techniques, which are really helping you develop focus and develop sensitivity, is to connect to an objective truth, an underlying universal certainty. And so if we take this story of three blind people touching an elephant, what is that universal truth? It's not the elephant, and it's not their description of the elephant. All of that is external, and to yogis would be defined as Maya, as the illusory, sensory-based experience. You will never find truth in things that have form, in things that you can behold with one of your five senses. Truth is imperceptible to our eyes, to our ears, to our noses, to our tongues, and to our skin. The truth is the consciousness that perceived the elephant's tail, the consciousness that perceived the trunk, the consciousness that perceived the leg, the consciousness that thought it was like a pig, the consciousness that thought it was like a snake, the consciousness that thought it was like a tree. And so when we're meditating, we are often in contact with sensory phenomena, with our thoughts, with our sensations, with our environment, and with our memories and with our fantasies, so on and so forth. And a huge skill is understanding what you are beholding, what sensory experience you are present to, and recognizing that is not the point, even if it's bliss, even if it's happiness, even if it's euphoria. There's a really beautiful sort of quote or explanation from Paramahansa Yogananda, so the gentleman who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi, and he talks about the human fixation with pleasure and pain, and that neither are good. And the beautiful metaphor is both are chains. One is a chain of iron and one is a chain of gold, and they wrap around Atman. And so many of us fixate, even in our practice, on our gold chains, on our pleasantness and on our blissfulness and in our quiet. But all of those are sensory experiences that are meant to yogis to help us recognize the consciousness that perceives it. And so you'll find that it's very, very, very difficult, one, to separate yourself from the immediate phenomenon that you're presented with. Let's say you're meditating and you have a moment of like peace, and then to use that peace as a springboard to recognize, oh, I am conscious. Oh, I exist. Okay, and so that's the philosophical idea. What are we going to do today in our practice? It's fairly sort of flexible and open-ended, but what you're going to do is you're going to meditate and you're going to attempt to recognize what you are experiencing in that immediate moment. Whatever vision of Maya, right? Maya is the illusory sensory experience. Whatever vision of Maya is immediately in front of you, and that could range from anything and everything. Once you feel a connection to it, whether it's positive or negative, I want you simply to acknowledge it by keeping your eyes closed, bringing your hands to heart center, and using the mantra we've been using the whole time. Just one little aspect of the mantra. Either say Hare Krishna or Hare Ram. And in that, you're acknowledging whether it was the sound of someone waking up in your apartment or your home, or a beautiful thought, or a memory, or a painful sensation in your leg, or a painful sensation in your back, or a pleasant sensation in your skin. You are acknowledging it beyond its vision, beyond its sort of mask. You're acknowledging it as Krishna or Ram, and in that it might help you recognize the point of this thing, this experience, disguising Krishna, disguising Ram, is really to help me perceive my consciousness. So you sit there, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, bless the consciousness, bless the light, bless the power. It's enabling me to see my own consciousness. Okay? Cool, so that's really open-ended. You might be sitting there again, recognizing everything, because that's how you took the instruction, and it'll be a very sort of active and disrupted and sort of devotional practice. Oh, Hare Krishna, I heard my fan. Oh, Hare Krishna, I felt my knee. Oh, Hare Ram, I heard my breath. Oh, Hare Ram, I felt my tongue in my mouth. Or it might be a little bit more, you might be a little more sort of picky or choosy with what you choose to sort of connect to or what you recognize as a connection. And you might be sitting there for 10 minutes and finally feel a moment of pain and say, oh, that was the connection I'm looking for. It's all up to you. Use it to your discretion. But that'll be the practice today. It is a devotional practice honoring the playfulness or the disguise of Maya and Krishna or Ram within it. And again, helping you access Atman, or helping you perceive that it's consciousness itself that you're really looking for. Okay, groovy. Let's get into this. Tall seated position, wrists resting on knees. Everyone keep your fingers and your palms open for a moment. And take a moment to really build the aesthetic of your body. So your jaws are gently shut, your face is relaxed. Try to pull your entire skull backwards half an inch or so. In general, we hold our heads in front of our center line. Shoulder blades draw down the spine. Feel the sternum in the front of the rib cage lift. There's power in that. Nice straight arms. Your core is engaged, and in that, your rib cage is elevating actively out of the hips. Alrighty. Take a second to feel your fingertips and the skin of your hand. Vibrational sensation. And once you feel that sensation, sukshma, bring a random finger to each thumb. Again, consider that your mudras are the most ornate and beautiful aspect of your posture. Now start to breathe deeply into the stomach, breathe into the lower lobes of the lungs, and attempt to avoid the upper chest. If avoiding the upper chest forces you to breathe so shallowly that it causes stress, then breathe into the upper chest as well. So in the same way that when you have an important meeting or you're going on a date, you take a shower, the ritual of cleaning and purifying the body to present yourself in a certain way. You have an important rendezvous with your practice, a potential rendezvous with Krishna and Ram, a potential rendezvous with the true self, Atman. And so we have to purify ourselves in a certain way. We have to organize and cleanse our nervous systems by leaning into tranquility instead of falling into the instinct of nervousness. So breathing into the stomach, into the lower lobes, activates your parasympathetic nervous system. You can feel that with every breath. The second you feel cleansed, the second you feel an unnatural increase in peace, bring your hands to heart center, eyes stay closed, honor that tranquility, and then bring your wrist back to your knees, waiting to resume your practice. If it does not occur, that's fine. Save it for another day. So the gift of meditation, ultimately a sense of peace and comfort in the changing circumstances of the world, it comes fairly quickly and it's fairly intuitive, but then it leaves just as quickly. And the more time we spend in our practice, it seems to come less frequently. But at the same time, as you practice and become more sensitive to the signals and conversations between your awareness and your body, you learn how to lean into that space. Breathing slowly is one way. Breathing into the lower lobes of the lungs is another way. And there are countless tiny cues and actions that I can't express and that you can't express, but you intuitively take. And so now for an open-ended technique. You are in a relationship with an external experience. And the way the atmosphere hugs our bodies and moves into our lungs, and the way water presses into all the creatures of the oceans and lakes and rivers of the world. We are in constant contact. We are engulfed in Maya. And so this is an open-ended exercise. When your awareness locks onto an experience, whether it is small or massive, internal or external, when you catch eyes with Maya, bring your hands to heart center and repeat in the mind, Hare Krishna or Hare Rama. And in that, hopefully, you'll see through the form, see through the expression, and see into the essence. It is all one thing. It is all one divine thing. And that one divine thing is a reflection of your inner divinity. The consciousness inside that phenomenon that you made contact with reflects back into you the consciousness that is permitting you to experience it. And so hopefully through this open-ended exercise that is as active or as passive as you wish, you'll gain a sense of your own consciousness, which is the point of this entire process, and to yogis, the point of your existence. Good luck, enjoy. We have about 10 minutes here. And what you might feel is the fatigue of recognizing the infinity of the divine. That if you're really open to it, and if you are committed to revering it, every step of life, every breath of life is devotional. And that can be exhausting. And so you might empathize with the choice of numbness, the choice of looking away. Because you understand how much energy it takes to see the heart of things in all things. Now everyone bring your hands to heart center and repeat the mantra as it's traditionally repeated. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. As quickly as you can in the mind. Because Maya imprints itself into every cell of your being. Every cell of your being is itself Maya. At the heart of Maya is Krishna and Ram, consciousness, and the mystery of existence, the mystery of creation and death, and the emotion tethered to that storyline. And it whips by so quickly. All we can do is repeat the mantra as quickly as we can. At the same time, facilitate that physical peace you created at the beginning of your practice. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Create a little space between the skin of your thumbs and the skin of your forehead. Feel the space in between. Even in that space, there is Krishna, there is Ram, there is Maya. Even that little space is a perfect reflection of the innermost within us. Repeat the mantra. Fixate on that space. And so it should feel like you're waking up. It should feel like some dimension of your brain is speeding up. Like a perfectly functioning engine, heating and cooling all at once. Pistons, pumping, energy building. Even within the mantra itself, there is Krishna, there is Ram. Even the mantra, the sounds of these words are part of Maya. Speed up the repetition. Try to sense it all while conducting your inner peace. And with your next exhale, release your wrist to your knees, random finger to each thumb. Let your mind go anywhere. Let it exist everywhere. Listen to the space around you. Feel the space within you. No more inside, no more outside. No more chains of iron or chains of gold. No more fixation with pleasure or discomfort, with success or failure. You're just sitting down. So the feeling is, it is only you and the world. The illusion of separation, of differentiation, is Maya. And before there is only one thing, which is a powerful definition of moksha, liberation, before there is only one thing, there are only two things: you and reality. So feel that solitude, and in that, a sincerity. Bring your hands to heart center. And the power of your practice is determined by your capacity to believe these experiences and these ideas are more real than the conditioned thoughts of separation and individuality. That while it seems illogical, irrational, and mad to believe it's only you in the world, you in the universe, this is the belief of mystics. Everything and everyone you encounter is an alternative expression of the one. And at least in the heat of our practice, we have enough prana, we have enough focus and presence to feel maybe this is actually true. And so now with your hands at heart center, as you repeat your mantra one more time slowly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That perhaps as you pronounce Krishna and Ram, what you are really honoring is yourself. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Do your best to sense the consciousness that perceives. Extract the pith from the reed. Somehow you sense it, not with your eyes, not with your ears, not with your nervous system, not with your tongue, not with your nose. With an exhale, release your wrists, your knees. With the breath in, eyes open, I'm no longer meditating.